Here's a question for you. Should businesses be forced to accept cash? The King County Council is voting today on an ordinance that would require businesses to accept cash. The proposal is sponsored by King County Council member Gene Colwells, who notes in a press release that roughly 2% of county residents are unbanked. If adopted, businesses would have to accept cash for purchases up to $250. And the ordinance would only apply to businesses in unincorporated parts of the county. Angela Russell would love for you to weigh in on this. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Is it on?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm new. I think we need to get people banked. You know, you said 2% of people don't have access. I think that's part of the problem. I have a really difficult time telling a business what currency they can accept when I know some of the challenges that they're facing are related to cash. I'll never forget when this concept first popped up in my neighborhood. This was several years ago. And after the place had been robbed a few times, they're like, we're just going to a cashless business. And so in that climate, I have a difficult time with that. On the other hand, you know, I know that this is an equity issue and that people, for whatever reason, may not be able to have access to a card. And if I just take the equity piece out of it, I remember my kid, for example, wanting to go get pizza near her school. Yeah. And they're like, hey, we don't take any cash. So I had to get her the Apple Pay going or a credit card. So you got little kids having to run around with cards. So they can get a slice of pizza or some candy from the store, whatever it is. So I don't know. I feel like this is one so often when you make laws, regulations, there is not a perfect solution. And so you have to look at how do we have the least amount of impact. And I think in this case, maybe the compromise might be anything over, maybe we'll take cash if it's under $30. But right now, I think the threshold's too high. I think they're saying $250. I mean, what say you on this?
How in the world are you going to tell a business what kind of currency to take? Say what?
Pretty easy.
Hold on. wait a minute. But that's number one. So I'll start there. We know that we have safety issues with businesses that have been robbed. We know that we also have issues where businesses sometimes say, I don't want to accept cash because I have found that I am short or I'm losing. It could be employee theft or it could be for a variety of reasons. Okay. So if you make that choice to say, you know what, I don't want to accept cash, I think that every business should be able to have that right. Now, I got to tell y'all something. I have not, outside of being inside of Climate Pledge, the whole Amazon Go thing, outside of that, ask me how many businesses that I have personally been into that said, sorry, sir, we don't accept cash. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, that number is 0. I have never came across a business that does not want cash, right? They want cash because cash is king. Because there's a lot of times when you can take that cash and you're like, oh, okay, that didn't go in the register. They go, right? So anyways, I just think it's simple, Chef. I don't think that businesses should be forced to say you have to carry cash because 2% of those in King County, is that what it said? Yes, 2% of county residents are unbanked. We need to figure out that 2%. Let's figure out the problem on that end, but let's not let the businesses be the one to be responsible for the 2%.
Because here's the thing, to your point, cash is king. If a business is having to turn someone away because we don't take cash, they have to have a pretty doggone good reason to do it. And I almost want to trust that and say, you know, they're running their business in the best way they see fit to protect their employees or for whatever reason, the other reasons that you may have mentioned, whether it be employee theft. And I'm for, in this case, letting them make that choice.
Can I just stand up for the American dollar bill for a second? I mean, I'm just looking at this piece of cash and I have in my pocket and it says, let's see. Oh, yeah. This bill is legal tender for all debts, public and private. What a part about that makes it seem like a business shouldn't be able to accept it. Now, I honestly don't really care about the equity issue in this particular instance, because I think this is one of those red herring things where a certain politician says, I'm doing this for the sake of equity and inclusion, and et cetera. And how large of a problem is it that the businesses that are only accepting credit cards are serviced by the poor? No, generally they're higher end establishments. They're not the type of corner store where someone would go for goods and necessities. But as a consumer, I don't want to be legally inconvenienced by your business because you're worried about being robbed or you can't trust your own employees. Cash is cash. And if that's all I have on hand and I need to buy something, yes. Is it only an inconvenience for me to need to have a credit card on hand? Sure. But I think that a business should have to accept cash. No one is asking to pay with a bucket load of pennies. No one is asking to pay with 1,000 pounds of dimes. I'm saying, I've got a $20 bill in my pocket. I want something from your store. You should have to accept that.
I got a $20 bill in my pocket. Okay. I go to hotels all the time. I go to hotels all the time. I cover news. We talk about news all the time. You know what I've never seen? I've never been to a hotel and somebody stood outside and says, hey, man, don't go in there. Why? They don't accept cash. Really? When's the last time you paid for a hotel in cash?
Never.
Yeah, you're
But
acting
we're comparing hotels to his point. We're talking probably more stores, restaurants.
No. Wait,
okay,
hold
you're
on.
going somewhere.
But
Okay.
how come nobody complains about hotels not accepting cash? How come I haven't seen that here on the Gee and Ursula Show? How come that is not news? That is a business, the hotel, that is saying we don't accept cash.
Yeah, because you're generally paying like $1,000, right? And to be clear, I think this is legislation.
That's exaggeration.
That's exaggeration.
That's exaggeration,
What?
Chef.
For you?
No.
For you or me?
I think small businesses are struggling so much. I mean, I was just in a coffee shop the other day, and this business owner was dealing with a lot of stuff, and he says, I deal with this all day. I just think they don't need something else to deal with. And like I said, I sympathize with those who don't have it. I'm saying let's find a compromise, a threshold that works.
You know what I would like to? I got a new one. How about this one? How about convenience stores like 7-Eleven and all of the different gas stations that are open in 24 hours, that are open at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m.? How about no cash accepted during those times? Because you know who gets robbed during those times? You know who some of the most deadliest robberies come from? Convenience stores in the middle of the night. Why? Because there's cash. What if they don't want to accept cash?
Look, Chef, I'm here for your dollar bill. I'm just saying.
Which was pretty good.
The card kind of. It's just the electronic version.
You did good with the cash thing.
Gee, if I ever owe you money, I guess you're not getting paid because I can't pay you with my credit card and I don't have any of the smart pay stuff. You're just going to be out of luck. Sorry, you can't take my money.
Good stuff.